Hang on. Can you guys hear me now? Okay, let's try this one more time. If y'all don't mind, type in there and let me know that you can hear me. Apparently, I just did that entire training with my microphone not working. Can you guys hear me now? Okay. Okay, well, let's start this over. I apologize for that. We are way behind now, but if you don't have time to stay on this thing, we're going to do it again Saturday morning, and Coach will send out an email about that. So what we're going to do here is you guys have already found the chat box over there on the right. So throughout this training, if you would, if you have any questions, just go ahead and type your questions in right there, and at the end of this thing, we'll try to get those answered. Guys, this business is a very simple business. We always try to overcomplicate it, but it starts with your why. Personally, my why is my grandson. I want him to be able to go to the college of his choice and not just the one that we can afford. Your why could be way different from that. It could be, you want to pay off your credit cards. Maybe you didn't save good for retirement. That's actually another one of mine. But and guys, when you first start this business, you may not even know what your why is. You may just know that you need 300 or 400 extra bucks a month to help make ends meet, and that's okay. You can develop this. You can develop your why over time. Okay. Um, Your written list is another important facet of working this business. It's probably one of the most important. What we like to do is take a piece of paper, draw off 4 quadrants in there, just make a big cross right in the middle of the page, and make one section family, one section friends, one section acquaintances or coworkers, and the other one successful people. Write down as many people as you can into those quadrants and try to come up with at least 100 names to get you going, okay? On ambitteam212.com, which is, I know you guys know where it is because you've made it into the webinar. And can you guys not hear me? I'm sorry, I'm watching the chat box over there. Oh, okay. I was watching some of these other guys saying they couldn't hear me. Anyway, guys, on ambitteam212.com, you can click on training tools and documents, and in there is a very comprehensive memory jogger. It's going to ask you questions like, who do you know named Dave? Who do you know named Susie? Who do you know named Alan? And so forth. And who is your doctor? Who is your dentist? Who's the plumber that worked on your water heater last week? And so on and so forth. This will help you pull names out of memory, and sometimes people that you haven't thought of in a long time. And the way that this works is it's scientifically proven that you need to get these names out of your head and down on a piece of paper so you can think of other people. So we want to expand that list as much as we can. This is your inventory in this business, and let's get at least 100 names to start with, okay? Then we'll move on to goals. And guys, goals that are not written down on a piece of paper are simply wishes. And successful people know this, that they set their goals, they write their goals down on paper, and they look at their goals all the time so they can remember what those goals are. But what we want to do is show you how you can accomplish your goals through our 526 system. The 526 stands for 5 personal customers. 2 of these customers are customer points are given to you by Ambit for your websites that you're paying for each and every month. The other 3 will come from real customers. 2 personally sponsored consultants, and the 6 is a total team of 6 consultants in your organization, and 2 of that does include the 2 personal sponsors. So what we're going to, there's a couple of, I don't know if you can see those examples there or not, so I'm going to move on to the next screen. There it is, a little bit bigger. Your goals. There's a couple of examples there of how you can achieve the 6 part of your 526 right there. The one on the left, of course, shows you put in 2 consultants, and then, of course, they go out and each get 2 consultants. The one on the right, you put in 3 consultants, and one guy puts in 2, and another guy puts in 1. And it could happen any number of ways. You could have to put in all 6 of them. And that's kind of the way that it happened for me. I had to end up putting in all 6 of mine. Now, to get your first paycheck, of course, you're going to sign up yourself to be an Ambit customer if you can, and if you're in an area where you can be. Ambit's going to give you 1 point for that. Ambit gives you, like I said a while ago, 2 points for your website, so now you've got a total of 3. And in Texas, we just have to gather 1 more customer totaling 4 points within your first 28 days, and that's going to earn you your first check of $100. Since we're under a double bonus period right now, if you add 2 more customer points to that, 2 more customers in Texas, whether they're residential or commercial, that's going to earn you an additional $100. So that's awesome. Guys, this right here is one of probably the most important thing in Ambit, because I mean, your written list is important because you have to have people to call, right? This part is this is what we're going to say to those people when we do call them. And I can promise you one thing: if you do not pick up the phone and start calling people, your business is dead. It's not going to do anything. Sometimes that phone may feel like a 200-pound brick picking it up off of the table to do this, and that's okay. But you know, the only way to get around that is to just psych yourself up and pick up the phone and start calling. And this is an example of a templated invitation that we like to use when we first start. There's a couple of key points in the invitation that I want to go over right quick. The first is you'll see where it says, "Do you have a quick minute for me?" This is, we always try to be in a hurry when we're calling people, and the reason for that is because we don't want to get stuck answering questions that these prospects may have of you, because that is not your job to answer questions. It is you have to depend on the Ambit proven system, and that is a function of the proven system. Okay, all you're wanting to do is get people to take a look, and so it makes it a whole lot easier on you mentally when you go into it thinking that I'm not trying to get anyone to sign up. All I'm doing is trying to get them to take a look at it. Okay. The second thing is you're going to tell them why you're doing the business. The third thing is you're going to give them a genuine compliment. The fourth thing is you're going to ask them for a favor. And then the fifth thing is you're going to set an appointment after that, okay? So real briefly, we'll just go through a quick invitation. I may say, hello, Bob, this is Brian. How are you this evening? He's going to say, great. You make your small talk. And I say, that's great. Do you have a quick minute for me? And I've never had anybody say no. Once you get them on the phone, they almost always say yes to that question. When he says yes, I'll say, I have something very exciting that I'd love to share with you, because I'm trying to save up a college fund for my grandson that's 8 months old. I thought of you because you've been a business owner in the area for a long time and been successful, and I really respect your opinion. Would you do me a favor? And you're going to wait for Bob to answer you. When he says that he'll do a favor, then I just say one of those next 2 questions, may I stop by your house for 30 minutes? That's the preferred method, and I'll get into that in just a second. But may I stop by your house for 30 minutes, or are you next to your computer or laptop? And if I'm going to stop by his house, basically I'm just going to take a magazine with me over there, and the DVD from the magazine makes a great tool to just walk in there and say, hey, Bob, how you doing? Let's where's your DVD player at? Let's pop this in. I want you to take a look at this. I prefer this method because I know they've seen the presentation. Sometimes it's hard to gauge whether they've seen it or not when they're looking at your website in the privacy of their own home. You don't really know whether they've taken a look at it or not. So this brings us up to the method of presentation. In-home is preferred. Of course, a business grand opening is where you invite many people to your home, as many as you can, and invite some leaders also to your home to come over and help you do a presentation for those prospects. And you can sometimes you can get a lot of people in at the same time, and these are very, very successful. Eye to eye, knee to knee. of course, and then Success from Home magazine and the DVD. You can also get them on your website, energy526.com or the whyambitworks.com websites. These, if you're going to use the website, which ends up being probably 80% of the time, is what we use, is the website. So if you're going to use the websites, I never give them the web address until they're ready to look at it, because I don't want them going out there and doing some research and finding some spam about Ambit and somebody making some statements that aren't true. So I just say, when are you going to be in front of your computer or laptop? They'll say, well, I don't know, maybe this evening when I get home from work. Okay, well, what time do you get home from work? Well, I'm usually home by 6. Okay, well, would 7 o'clock or 7:30 be better? And I always give them 2 choices of times, because people, I don't know why, but people, if you give them a choice, they pick one. So this is what we call setting the appointment. So when you know that Bob says, hey, I'll take a look at it at 7 o'clock tonight. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to send out a text message to my validation group and ask them. I'll say something like, hey, this is Brian. I'm in Coach Alan Johnston's group, and is someone available for a 3-way call at 7 p.m. this evening? When you have a group that you can text to, this makes things a whole lot easier for everyone. If you've only got 2 people in your group, then the chances of getting a validation, or the chances of those 2 being busy at the same time, could be pretty high. So you need to have as many people in your group as possible. If you need some names to go in that group, Coach has some. He has a good list of people. Just send him an email, and he'll be glad to get those to you. So what we're going to do, as soon as I hang up the phone with Bob, and I know that I have an appointment with him this evening at 7 o'clock, I'm going to send out that text. I'm going to set up a validator ahead of time. Okay? For those of you who are new, you can do all of this with your sponsor. You should be able to. So let's say that I have a phone call appointment with Bob at 7 o'clock tonight, and I'm going to get him to look at my website. So I call Bob up at 7, and I say, hey, Bob, how are you doing? You ready to take a look at this? And he says, yep. And I say, okay, are you in front of your computer? He says, yeah. And so I tell him my web address and say, type that into the address bar, not the Google search bar. Type it into the address bar and tell me what you see. He's going to say, okay, I see a video here and something about Energy 526. Okay, Bob, it sounds like you're in the right place. Do you see my name in the upper right-hand corner? Yeah, I see your name, Brian. Great. What I want you to do is hit play, and I want you to watch all 4 videos there. It takes about 16 minutes, and I'm going to call you back at 7:20. Great. So you hang up the phone, and he hits play. So at 7:20, when I call Bob back, I'm going to ask him 2 questions. That is the ask for a decision part that's in front of you now. The first question is, does it make sense? I've never had anybody say, no, it does not make sense. The answer to that question has always been yes. And when they say yes, the next question is, does that mean you're ready to get started? At this point, if they are a yes, then you need to sign them up. Don't say anything else. In fact, I changed the subject about Ambit. I just tell them, okay, hit that get started button, and let's start filling that form out and get you signed up. If they are an emphatic no, then I just tell them, okay, well, you saw the great benefits of Ambit Energy and where we're going and how this is a great company and everything. Could I at least count on you to be my customer? And once they've seen the business, you have a 80 or 90% chance of signing them up as a customer, versus if they have not seen the business previous, then they don't know who Ambit is or anything like that. Once they've seen the presentation, they realize that Ambit is a billion-dollar company and it's not fly-by-night industries. Okay, so it makes it a whole lot easier to sign them up as a customer. Now, the other 80% of the time, you're going to have people that have questions. Okay. And this is where the Ambit system takes over. And so what you're going to do is say, okay, Bob says, you ask him, does that mean you get ready, or does that mean you're ready to get started? And he says, well, are people really making that kind of money? And you're just going to say, hold that thought for one moment, Bob. What you're going to do is hit add a call on your phone, and you're going to call your validator. And once your validator answers the phone, in this case, I'll just say it's Coach Johnston. And I'll just say, hey, Coach, I got my friend Bob on the phone, and he has a question about whether people actually make this kind of money or not. And then Coach will say, okay, put me on there. And so what you're going to do is hit the merge button, and you're going to join all three of you together. We've now started what we call a three-way call. And this, I promise you guys, this is the single most important thing of your business. This will grow your business faster than anything else if you will use this tool. Okay, and so what you're going to do now is you're going to go back and you're going to edify your validator to your prospect, and you're also going to edify your prospect to your validator. Okay, and so it would go something like this: Hey, Bob, are you still there? Yeah, I'm still here. Okay, Bob, I have a friend of mine named Alan Johnston on the line with us. He's been working this business for about 6 years, and he's made a little over $1 million working this business, and I figured he's won numerous awards in our business too, and he's been in several magazines and all that, and I figured he was probably better qualified to answer your questions than I am. And Alan, this is my friend Bob. He's been a business owner in East Texas for a long time, and I really respect his opinion. And he just had a couple of quick questions about whether you can really make this kind of money in this business or not. And Coach, I'm going to go ahead and give you the floor. Now, your job at this point is to hit mute on your phone and not say another word until your validator gives the call back to you. What you're going to do is hit mute, and you're going to sit back and listen, and this is where you will learn the most about this business, is by doing three-way calls with a validator, hitting mute, and just sit back and listen. Your job is never to answer these questions, and Coach will tell you this too. He's been in this business 6 years. He doesn't answer his prospects' questions. He has a validator get on the phone and do it. That's because that's the way this business works. This is a duplicatable method of working this business. When your prospect says to you, Brian, I can't do this type of a business. I'm not a salesman. I don't know very many people, and yada, yada, yada. Well, the truth of the matter is can you call someone up and go over to their house and pop a DVD into their DVD player, hit play, and then when they have questions, put them on the phone with me? Absolutely, everybody can do that. It's a duplicatable way of working this business. Now, if you go over there and start talking to your prospect for 2.5 hours and throwing up everything that you know to him about Ambit, yeah, this is not a duplicatable way to work this business. He will never ever succeed, because there's one rule of thumb that you have to remember, and it's the same thing with your children. If you have children, they are going to do as you do. They will not do as you say. I hope that makes sense to everybody. Did anybody have any questions about that? I hope you can still hear me. Can y'all still hear me? Okay, I did get texted a question about how to read a bill. I didn't really plan on going into that today, but let me see if, yeah, I got one here. This is a good example of a competitor's bill that has 3 initials, and I won't bring them up, but there's really only 3 things that you need to pay attention to on any bill. The first thing is the usage there in yellow. You can see that this one here has 1,221 kilowatt hours used on the bill. The second thing is the average price per kilowatt hour on the bill. When you multiply, from this case, 13 cents times 1,221 kilowatts, it's going to come up somewhere close to that total current charge down there of 165.15. And I know that Ambit's rate in my area, when I looked at it earlier today, was 9.7 cents. So when you do that same 1,221 kilowatt hours times 0.97, it's $118.44, which is a 28% savings on that, just on that one particular bill. Okay, this is another bill that is, well, it's also TXU. You can see they got a little creative with this one. They have the energy charge is different. First 600 kilowatts is one price, and then everything after that is another price. Plus the TDU delivery charges are broken out down there and completely separated. And then they've added this disclaimer down there that says the delivery charges were regulated fees from the TDU for the delivery, and they were previously included in your energy rate, but now are itemized separately. This is one of the biggest differences with Ambit, is that we bundle everything together. So all of this is included in our rate except for taxes. Okay, so again, we look at this usage. I mean, all this stuff down here doesn't really matter, because all you need is the same 3 numbers. The usage is 1638. The average price we paid was 12.5 cents, and then our total current charges are 210.44. So you multiply that same 1638 times to the 0.097, and that's 158.89, and it is a 22% savings off of this bill. I hope that makes sense to you. And guys, if there's no other questions, I'm going to go ahead and get off, because this has gone way longer than it should have. I apologize for having the microphone problems a while ago. I thought that this thing was working, and I went through an entire training. So I've just gone through it twice tonight. We'll do this again on Saturday. Coach will send out an email and let us know when exactly that's going to be, and I'll be sure to have my microphone working for sure by then. All right, well, I appreciate you guys joining us tonight, and we'll see you later.